This episode of The Patch is brought to you by Hulu Plus. Watch your favorite shows anytime, anywhere with Hulu Plus. On your TV or on the go with your smartphone or tablet. Shows like Family Guy, Once Upon a Time, New Girl, Scandal, and more. Right now you can try Hulu Plus free for 2 weeks when you go to huluplus.com/patch.
Hey!
Welcome to The Patch.
Welcome to The Patch. That was a dramatic pause.
That
You
was
like
very
that? Thank
good.
you.
It was well done.
Yeah, you had me hanging on your every word.
I can't believe I'm calling
Oh,
for
wow.
re-intro.
look at this.
That was so dramatic, they ran the intro twice.
They're like, are they live? They go. Make them go again. Hit them again.
All right, I'm Ashley.
Hey, I'm Burnie.
And sorry, I'm not Meg, I'm Ryan this time.
Well, you're nearly as pretty.
Ashley. Meg's booing from off camera. All right, lots to talk about this week. A lot of stuff has come up in the past week. I mean, last week we focused mainly on the Steam sale. You were not here.
I was not.
Do you want to catch us up? What did you buy anything on the Steam sale?
Yes, I did. What did I buy? I bought FTL finally, which
So did I.
absolutely as hard as Gus said. That's
It's
very
a
difficult.
hard game, and now that you said that, you're gonna get nothing. Not that you care, but you'll get nothing but tweets of people going, "Oh, I finished the first time."
Like, oh, is it just me or was it really easy?
I didn't even know there was a normal setting.
50% of that game is luck, and that is not something that I commonly come into the game with. So, it's a game
Are you
that
an unlucky player?
I'm a pretty unlucky player, yeah.
Huh.
In my video gaming experience, like if I'm the Murphy's Law case of players.
Here's what I think, though. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, you have things that happen, you think, oh, there's no way, I'm so unlucky. But the times you get away with just raw luck and you beat a level that everyone else has problems, you would never know that, right? I always think about that when I'm hunting an
you just think
achievement.
that was an easy level.
Right. Like, I always think about when I'm hunting an achievement, that there's some people who are just like, oh, what was that achievement? Oh, well, whatever. And
It
they
just
moved on.
popped. Yeah.
Yeah, because they got it for whatever reason. But I'm, like, hunting all around the goddamn map, trying to find this one thing that'll trigger the event. And then I know there's, like, probably hundreds of thousands of people who just, like, got it with no effort whatsoever.
Well, FTL kind of rubs your face in it, though, because it's like you need a series of things to go right. It's like, okay, I've got to get some more scrap. I've got to get this new weapon. I've got to get some, something. And it's like, well, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Maybe I don't like you today.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll pee on your face.
Have you yet gone down the rabbit hole?
It escalates that quickly.
That was a quick escalation.
Listen, it's a weapon upgrade that you can get.
It is.
The face urinator. It hits you. Have you gone on the rabbit hole of unlocking ships yet?
I've gotten a few of them. Even the unlock ship things, like the achievements or whatever those old things, whatever they call them, are really hard. Like get 6 different alien races on at the same time.
Yep.
I mean, those are things that are not easy to do.
In a way, it's like it's a pretty typical model, I think. But the way they implement it in FTL is great because they become their own mini games. Like, I'm just gonna play this run of FTL just to get the stealth ship. That's what I want to do, And so it actually adds a long tail to that game, especially when you're someone like me who can't fucking beat it after 2 years of playing the game.
Have you ever beat it?
I've never beaten it. There's a flagship at the end of the game that you have to fight, and I think you have to fight it 4 times, and I've gotten through 2 of the 4 battles before it just like beats the shit out of me. Yeah, it's terrible. I'm terrible at it.
I think so far I've only been to the last screen twice.
Are you playing on normal or are you playing on easy?
I'm playing on easy now.
Everyone plays on
I was
easy.
playing on normal, but then I backed it off.
There is no normal. There's only difficult
I wondered
and more
about
difficult.
that.
Yeah, God. Easy, just like you get more scrap and all that stuff. It's not. I played
So
too
how
much
do you go
FTL.
about collecting the other ships? Like, is it how do you unlock them?
There's
Is it
conditionals,
something-
like he was saying. Like, you have to get 6 different alien races on one ship. Is one unlock for one variant of one species
Okay.
ship. There's one where there's like a quest where you get like a certain kind of alien. You get it out of a stasis tube. You have to take it to its home planet. Then you get that ship. I mean, there's lots. They're all very, very specific. There's one there's an achievement, I think, to get all the way to the last sector and not do something really basic, like not fire something.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, there's some achievement based on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you unlock something.
It's hard. It's
all their
hard.
achievements basically unlock ships.
I bought it. I don't dare play it because of conversations like this. I've come to the realization that just in general, I'm bad at games. I like them a lot. I stick with them, but I've been playing Guacamelee, and I
Free
Mm-hmm.
think
with
it's
gold
just
right now.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's now July.
How do you feel about that? Because you were a world champion in Rainbow Six at one point when you were competitively gaming.
It wasn't easy. I was training like 8 hours a day. It's hard not to get good when that's all you do.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but okay. I mean, I can play a lot of Rainbow Six and not get to be that level, but yeah.
But like when you get to the point where you're just like, I'm playing whatever I want, it turns out I have really, really shitty timing with platformers, which is a bad thing when platformers are like kind of what I'm playing right now.
Watching you play Guacamelee has been fun. You get that angry face when you play.
I always have that angry face when I play.
Yeah, I know, but this is like serious. Like this is
the rage
Yeah,
face.
I feel a bit bad. JD and Teddy were playing in the same room. They were playing their games, and I'd be sitting over in the corner going, "God damn it!" and they're like, "What's the deal?" And I'm like, "This thing."
JD's very level-headed. He never gets mad at games, and if I always get mad at games. He's like, "Okay, take it easy, everybody."
Yeah. No. Bernie did me a big favor though. There was one fight. Do you ever get that like? There's one encounter or something that, for whatever reason, seems made specifically to be impossible for you as an individual.
Like
Yes.
they did some research, really found your weaknesses, and felt like tweaking you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Data
like,
mining. They got on your Facebook profile.
I had one that was a grouping of these 3 different types of enemies, and they all had these different shields, and you had to get each one of them unshielded separately and then kill them, and it was
hard.
this whole big thing. And they grouped up, so it's like I could never get an attack off because at all times, one of them was hitting me. It was just the most frustrating thing. I must have tried that particular encounter for like 2 hours. I even did that thing where I just like, you know what? I'm gonna come back
And
tomorrow.
what happened?
It's gonna
What
be
happened?
okay.
How'd you get past it?
Yeah, I was coming to that, and now you just ruined it.
The segue. So I'm setting you up. How'd you get past? How'd you get
eventually-
past this hard part of the game?
Eventually,
Segue.
Bernie comes in and he goes, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is a fight. It's killing me." And he's like, "All right, well, show me the buttons." And so I'm like, "All right, this is jump and this is attack, and you do this thing here and this thing." And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, "You're done." He
Hero.
just beat it for me.
Hero.
And
I can't kill a
you're-
saber
And
tooth
he's
tiger.
so
You're the big
humble
hero.
about it too. It's like
That I
the
can do.
humility that's
Ryan,
just
I don't get
radiating
these
off of
moments
him.
often. I gotta milk them when I get them.
Yeah.
The game is fun though, and it's I believe
It
it
is
is
great.
coming to the 360 and Xbox One this week.
It's out now. on the
Yes, it just released. So I've been playing the Guacamelee Gold Edition for PC, but the Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition is what just came out for Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS4.
And
Because it was already on PS3 and PS Vita, so this is like the new ones for the consoles that did. Oh, and Wii U, for all the consoles that didn't have it.
But you were playing with an Xbox One controller on the PC, and now I read recently the guy who got the million gamer score, Ray Cox, I believe is his name. The name escapes me.
Stallion 83.
Stallion 83, yeah. He just tweeted just before I came in here that he was very excited that Guacamelee has 1,000 gamer score. And it's funny because he called it an arcade title. Calling the downloadable titles arcade titles on the Xbox, they're never going to unbrand that. That is what people call those titles.
I mean, yes and no. They have definitely done away with that and giving it the equal gamer score is probably going to help, probably. But you will get that is a distinction that people are probably going to use arbitrarily for a long time just to say this is a digital only game. Like
Well,
you can't get this game retail,
I mean, there's still a distinction.
and also like it's like the scale of it is
yeah.
a bit smaller.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a distinction in like what a full retail would be, and you can usually tell by price. It's like this one's half as much as that one, and it's not going to be as long of a game. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's still got to exist. There still needs to be a place for that shorter game, even if we're not going to call it arcade game.
Right.
What do you want to call it? Like it needs a name.
Like you wouldn't call it less game.
Yeah, it's like
Game minus.
It's a half
discount.
game.
Yeah, it's an almost game. It's a most a game. It's a pseudo game.
How do you write this? Game.
Yeah,
It's a game.
game light.
Game. They would never do
Game
that.
64.
I think arcade was fine,
Wait, they've already
and I
done
don't know
that.
why they tried to get away from arcade. Sometimes the Xbox One, its first year was like a case of why fix something that's clearly not broken. Like the buttons for back and start, they have unnamed those buttons, and now I have
They're
no
now,
idea
they're
what to
now
call
like
them.
snap and
Yeah, now we got.
list.
They're called-
I guess,
easy.
and-
You got 2 boxes and you got parallel lines.
Right. You got paragraph and document. It's like I don't know what those buttons are.
Now all we need is the giant save button.
How do you feel about somebody playing a game on the PC with an Xbox controller? You're the PC master race.
I think some games it's very appropriate. Honestly, like trying to drive in say GTA 4 with just a keyboard and mouse is atrocious because there's some games you need that not on-off switch. You need a button that has some give to it, some varying levels. And unless you want to get a separate controller for PC, actual console controller is perfectly acceptable.
The W key just doesn't do that.
It doesn't. It's on or off. It's like full speed. It's like how Gavin drives, honestly, in every video game. It's like all or nothing.
Honestly, it's how I drive in real life. I'm really guilty of that. I'm like accelerator on, accelerator off, accelerator on. I'm not.
That's just because you like making your car go.
No, but it's just the way I've always.
Also,
like, people,
you hate fuel economy.
Yeah,
Apparently.
I really hate fuel economy. I really do. That brings me to another thing though that came up this week, which is last week they had Xbox One, or recently they had Xbox One PC drivers that came out. This week, the PS4 controller can now be used wirelessly on the PS3 if you do a firmware update. I love that because one of the things I always hated long term about the Sony console is I never liked that controller, and I'm sure there's lots of people who that's all they play with is that one. I love the PS4 controller. It's my favorite controller right now. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, and it'd be great for them too because they get rid of the whole the DualShock 3 line can just go away.
I'm with Burnie. I never liked the PS3 controller. It always felt too light. I felt like I was going to break it at any time. I don't normally get controller breaky, but that one worried me.
I felt like my thumbs were rotated down like this, and they were even. It's like I felt like the thumbstick should have been more up here, and I felt like they were more down. Like I had to rotate my hands.
Well, I mean that orientation seems like you just got really accustomed to where it was on the 360, and you're
No
right
question.
relative to that.
No
that would
question.
be where it would be. So
that being said, I prefer the PS4 controller to the Xbox One controller.
Do you?
Yeah, I like the
Why?
360 controller a lot. I don't know. I just really like the feel of the PS4 controller.
There
I don't like
is-
the beacon it has on the front of it, but other than that light is bright.
Although it was cool, you were playing. It wasn't Infamous. It was there was a PS4 game you were playing, and it kept changing colors.
apparently, Infamous does change the color based on your moral choices.
Yeah,
I
there's-
think
Oh, really?
That's what Michael
There's-
was telling me.
Mine went, I
There's-
went into a cave and it lit up like a torch.
Yeah, that was a
Oh.
really cool thing.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
I will say that I prefer the 360 controller to the One controller. There's something about the way that my hands are rotated around it that I prefer the 360. I don't mind the Xbox One controller. It's just it was pretty much perfect. Like I just don't know why they needed to change anything. I like the idea of haptics,
Shoulder-
but I have yet
shoulder
to see
buttons needed
them
an
a
upgrade.
lot.
Yeah, the trigger-based vibrator stuff is just really wussy.
You don't like it?
No, it's terrible.
Oh, really?
I mean, like the original 360 controller had big meaty vibration controllers right on your
Yeah.
palms. The trigger ones, like every time I'm like partially depressing the trigger and it starts vibrating, it sounds like it's like a little piece of plastic, and they're just going, I'm trying.
Doesn't it have both? The Xbox One controller?
I don't think it does.
It doesn't have-
I think it might be all haptics. Like it's got something. It's got a ton of different haptics in there. So, do you remember at E3 last year? They actually had these stations set up to demo the haptics in the controller, and it's like it would show the vibration moving in a wave across the controller, or like just coming from all these different places. It was a really cool idea, but in practice, it was nice to have the good like strong vibration feedback.
Yeah.
Although the PS4 controller, that's one thing that's losing if you use it on PS3 is I think it loses vibration, like the rumble. You don't get that.
I'm actually surprised by the number of players, and Ray's one of them, Ray who works in Achievement Hunter, that the first thing they do is turn off vibration.
Yep.
That seems interesting to me. It's like a lot of people feel like it throws off their game.
And my controller here, my 360 controller, the vibration in it has stopped working.
Really?
And it took me a while to notice, but then once I noticed, it's like really distracting that I don't
That it's
have
not
that
doing
feedback
anything?
anymore.
It's like phantom pain.
Yeah, really.
Phantom
it's
limb?
like, why my hand, it feels so not rumbly.
My hands are asleep. I just recently bought Matt as like a new office warming gift. I bought him a Nintendo 64 because Matt used to play Ken Griffey baseball on the Nintendo 64 every day when we were in college. He would play it. He'd put on the easiest setting, and he would beat like the Dodgers 302. I was like, "What is this
He really
enjoyable?"
had-
He's like, "I love it. I love it." He just crank home runs
So he
constantly.
really hated the Dodgers.
He
he really
just
wanted to.
I think at the
humiliate them.
time they might have been the worst team in the game. So it's how like based on
So
like,
it's
where you are.
easy.
So super easy, and he's just cranking home runs all day. So now he basically has a home run station in his office. And I was trying to remember, how did it save stuff? Because I actually found our cartridge from back in college and bought a new system for it. And it's like, was it battery on the Nintendo 64, or did they have memory cards that went in the bottom of the controllers? Because I know they had Rumble. That was the first one that had a Rumble pack. Was the Nintendo 64 controller?
No, I feel like if you have a cartridge, it saves to the cartridge. I don't remember, memory card stuff for the Nintendo 64, but I think there are batteries and they can run out and then it can lose your save.
That's definitely the case.
I definitely remember seeing something online. It was a while ago about someone opening a cartridge and replacing a battery in there.
Yeah, somebody was doing it with the Pokemon cartridge
Yeah.
recently online. They were like, it looked
They
like
had it
they were
on
trying
life
to save
support.
it. Yeah.
They had it hooked up to external
They had
power.
to add power
really
first
funny.
before they cut it. It's basically like heart surgery. It's basically what it amounts
Yeah,
to.
pretty much.
You got to take the body off the circulatory system and then get rid of the heart and then put a new one in. Right. Yeah. So, but what the hell? Just play the game. Yeah. Isn't that half the fun is to play it again?
Yeah, it was really cool though. We went to this place. I think they're actually an RTX exhibitor called Game Over Games, and they had or Game Over Video Games. I'm sorry. They had, but it was like a temple for like classic gaming. They had just a wall of Atari games. They had just everything. They
had a
Jaguar
Magnavox
boxes.
Odyssey on sale for like $50. That thing should be like a rare collector's item. There was the Atari, the Intellivision, and the Magnavox Odyssey.
Which had what, like 4 games?
Yeah, it had like Quest for the Rings was the big one on it. And like 4 kids in the world had that console. Did you have a Magnavox Odyssey?
I did not. My first console was NES.
I found out that Ashley grew up. She had an NES and she had 1 cartridge.
Which was?
It was a triple cartridge. Okay, we had Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and World Track Meet. So I did have the Power Pad. Okay, and I got really good at cheating on the Power Pad. But we only ever had the 1 cartridge.
What was your first console?
The first console was an Atari 2600.
Atari 2600.
Yep.
Same thing for me.
And my dad had an old, it's like a Trash 80, which you could play games on, but you had to actually put the cartridge in and then write. It came with a booklet that contained all the code for the game, and you had to type it in because it had no, permanent memory. So every time you turned it on, you plugged the cartridge in, you had to type up the whole program, and then you could play the game.
I remember those books where you would type it in and you would get to play your game.
Yep.
Mine, I had a Commodore, so I got to save it. But yeah, you should go to this place because you just go and you look at the walls, and it's just like all these cartridges you won't even remember. I bought one for Jeff, which is like a game that he played called Laser Blast. I think we showed it on one of the podcasts. It's an old Activision game because that's how long Activision has been around. It's just like a saucer that shoots 3 tanks. Then you go to the next screen, 3 more tanks, and it's like that for 8 hours.
So you're the saucer.
You're the saucer.
So you are the Space Invader in this scenario.
You are the laser blaster.
It kind of makes it amazing that video games made it as far as they did, because at what point is that more fun than just playing jacks?
Right.
I mean, where's the cutoff there?
No, it's very, very true. I mean, it's like that game is like, and those games were like $50. And it's like you just like shoot the tank on the left, shoot the tank on the right, shoot the one in the middle. Then same pattern, just execute that until your mind just breaks and you're numb and you can't do it anymore. That's basically what it was.
You know what I always wonder though is like, what was the budget for all those games? There are walls of these games. They were putting out hundreds and hundreds of them. I think they're probably all like each made by like one dude.
They were.
But,
Yeah.
like, what was the budget on those? What did they make?
I have no idea.
If you could sell one of those for $50, which at the time would have been worth so much more, but you had one guy working on it.
Well, basically they were all like guys, engineers that worked at toy companies, and they were in like a little department at the toy company, and there was just the engineering team, usually electrical engineers, and they were making these games. Like the Intellivision was in Mattel. That's a Mattel product. So it's like the video game industry like grew out of the toy industry.
Can you imagine what the concept art for those games would have looked like? Like,
I don't think
and then
they
there's
bothered
a
with
square,
concept art.
and then a circle.
Now you
eats
can tell.
the square.
When you look at the cover of an Atari game, they're gorgeous.
They really
It's
are.
like combat's a dude with binoculars, a tank rolling by him in the background. You're like, this is gonna be awesome. It's like, burp.
They'd work really hard to sell it.
I bought you a
conceptually.
bunch of those like blown up as posters for your birthday.
Yeah, I'll send some to Patrick so he can show up on stream.
They're still in the house in a tube somewhere. We never get around to hanging these
Haven't
stuff up.
found the appropriate wall yet.
You guys mind if we move forward to modern times?
Yes. What do we got new?
So
All right.
recently, let's talk about what we played this week. I don't know. You've been busy getting ready for RTX, and Achievement Hunter has some like people moving around. So when that happens, you guys always like bank up a
Crunch.
bunch of shows,
Yeah.
basically. But Ashley and I played this week. I downloaded from Steam Sniper Elite 3.
Because that just came out this week.
Yeah, Sniper Elite 2 was like, it was very cheap or close to free. Might have been free right before the Steam summer sale.
Yeah, they were giving away Sniper Elite.
Well, they were giving away for free, right? Okay, that's what I remember. But I didn't get a chance. I missed the window on it. Didn't get it. And then I got Sniper Elite 3, and I've been playing that. Probably about 5 or 6 levels in at this point. It's a fun game. It's a little repetitive in this. Like, there's this one mechanic that everyone associates with it, which is when you take like a headshot or something like that. They were basically when you shoot your sniper rifle, it like travels with the bullet and then passes through the body. This is it here. This is the first level where it's basically
Which you can
look,
turn
a
that
sniper
down.
rifle. Very handy.
you'll
There's
see
a couple
here.
things that you can tweak that make that a lot more livable. One of which being you can turn down how often that happens, and well, at least if it keeps form with the previous games, you can turn down how often it happens, and you can also turn down or set it so that when you fire,
I feel like we should give a
this is
literal
very
trigger warning right
cinematic.
here. This is about to be really gross.
Literal trigger
there's gonna be
warning.
some brains, but you can set it so when you fire, you get this cam.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, right through the
X-ray
brain.
cam.
There's on screen we're seeing someone's head explode from a bullet.
And also their spine.
God,
I mean, I have to give you credit for the shot. That was a great shot
Thank
to go
you.
through their head.
Thank you very
and
much.
then through their spine.
You just
It
really
reminds me
make
of-
sure there was no chance of him limping away from
No,
that one.
you know, and you do actually try to like here I'm gonna shoot the guy in the chest instead of in the head, just because like after like, well, how much damage can I do to other parts of this guy's body? And yes, it will show you the testicles, and you can shoot people in the testicles.
It kind of reminds me of Mortal Kombat. They've introduced those X-ray attacks that'll show you. So you kick and it like shows their knee breaking.
Mm-hmm. And so if you're
reminds me of
listening to the
that.
audio version of the podcast, what Ashley's describing is exactly what it looks like when you shoot somebody with a sniper rifle. Follows the bullet, gets to an X-ray view, and then shows all the awful, horrible damage you're doing to this.
Yeah, the other thing
virtual
you can do to make that a little bit more livable is I don't know if you've noticed, but when you do that, when it comes out of the cam, you've unzoomed. Mm-hmm. You're back to your just over the shoulder view. You can set it so that if you continue to hold the right click or whatever your button is on console, that it'll come right back to your through the scope view. So if you happen to be shooting a bunch of people,
Oh, great.
there's a couple things that make that a little bit more useful.
Yeah, but also it's like I don't know. That's like a 10-second play. I don't know if I'll hold the button the entire time. A lot of times I come back
Can
out of
be,
scope
yeah.
view anyway and take a look.
So I noticed in this year you weren't. Do you have to like account for wind and all that stuff? Like aim
There's
off a
a
guy,
level where
or-
you do have to account for ballistics, and that's I'm assuming that's like wind and height and elevation, distance, all that stuff. But no, I have the more simplified version that I'm playing through. I tend to play games on normal or easy my first time through, and then play through them harder. I used to just play on the hardest level first, but then I find I don't catch the story, and I just end up like monotonously like repeating levels over and over again to beat them on hard. So
Yeah, I like playing easy, normal the first time, and then if I want to, I might play it again on hard. Generally, I won't.
Just walk away from it
Generally,
at that
I'll
point.
move on.
But you do have to account for like your heart rate when you're running. There's a really cool relocation mechanism where when you shoot, they hear the gun go off, and the more you shoot, the more they can like zone in on you. So there's a relocation mechanism where it's like you fire, they hear you and they're looking for you. You relocate a certain distance, and then it's like you're back in stealth mode again.
I'm trying to remember, there's another game that had a really interesting version of that where you got to actually see the ghost. Splinter Cell used to do a very good version of that too.
There's a ghost on this too. Where
okay,
so
so
it
you
makes a
can see your
ghost
little
where
ghost
you were
image?
last detected by the enemies, and you have to relocate away from that. And there's a lot of collectibles. There's sniper nests and there's war diaries and things like that. So I think this game has a lot of replayability for people who like the basic mechanic.
There was actually a big controversy over this game too because there was 7,000 Steam codes that got out in the wild.
And then they got revoked. They got canceled. They were I don't know if they were stolen or what it was exactly, but so Steam Valve they shut them down, and then people had to go back to where they bought them from and get a refund and then buy it over again.
That sucks.
That's like a
Yeah,
lot.
it's a big problem for retailers, especially if they happen to get those codes legitimately, they thought. So, I mean, but those games actually, it's interesting because they'll spin out that version, and then I bet you sooner or later we'll get Sniper Elite 3 Nazi Zombie. Because that's what they did with 1 and 2. Both had a Nazi zombie army version that followed up on the original.
They might have to go to something else. I think the zombie well might be running dry.
I really hope so.
Although my favorite game I've been playing lately is Contagion, and that's a zombie game.
They're all over the place. Contagion, 7 Days to Die. I mean, there's the zombie well just continues to vomit up rotting corpses.
When I played Game Dev Tycoon, it's just a genre of games that you play. Like it's just like it's one of the topics that you can research, a zombie game, and then you just like make that.
And then the money comes in.
And then the money comes in. Yeah.
What do you think of Contagion?
I like it. I think I played the PvP mode. I showed it last week when you were out. Some gameplay from it. I like the kind of the asynchronous gameplay of like, okay, first you're human, and then after you're dead, you become a zombie. And then it's all the zombies against the humans.
Have you tried the campaign sort of mode to it?
I played Extraction and I played Panic, but I
Okay.
keep going back to PvP, which is normally I don't like straight up multiplayer. Like if I'm like, for instance, Halo's the game I play the most probably, and I never play Slayer or Team Slayer, and those are the most populated lists. I always play like objective games, but in this game I play the PvP.
I'd stick to that.
Yeah, you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stick to the just like 4-on-4.
The co-op stuff is a little rough.
Yeah, like the extraction modes and stuff like in Panic and all that.
Well, no, there's like a mode where you're basically you and your
here's what
co-op.
you're playing.
There's no PvE. It's just like straight up PvE. But it's still got that one death thing where if you die, you come back as a cockroach and you can still run around the map, but you're no longer going to be a human.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And it's just a really huge map and really kind of convoluted and difficult to find your way through, honestly.
Yeah.
It on paper looks like a really interesting game. I think they still need it probably could use a little bit of work.
It was a game that was available during early access, and then now it's gone through. It's officially released. I believe it released in late April. Contagion. So it's like it's done at this point.
Final, yeah.
Which brings us to another weird thing that came up this week, which is
I like that now. Final is like it's final.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's like
Well-
it's final.
See, that might be the ultimate legacy of early access games. Is now where it's like, yeah, but it's not really done. You know, I mean, even though they release it, it doesn't.
Well,
feel
that
like
sort of
Yeah,
happened
but that's-
backwards, though. I mean, if you look at it, like what came first really was the day one 16 gig patch, like Sniper
Right.
Elite had. So
Well,
I mean,
what really came first was expansions.
yeah,
Then what came second was, well, not came second, but like patches, and then just the ability to be able to deliver those automatically. We can maybe possibly blame consoles.
I think Minecraft.
I'm okay with
I mean,
that.
I
there
think
are so many
Minecraft
title
is to blame
updates.
for the recent rash of early access.
That
I think
is
so too.
absolutely true.
There,
yeah.
there are so many people that saw that it could be done and could be done very successfully. I mean, Minecraft was in alpha for what, 3 years? 2
Yeah,
years?
but Minecraft had a basic set of functionality that at least it appealed to hardcore enthusiasts. So they were working in this, beta product. They were making these incredible builds like the 1-to-1 scale enterprise and things like that. And then that stuff was going viral and people were catching on. I don't know that just a not fully baked game is going to have that same lightning in a bottle that Minecraft had.
It happens on occasion. Like you get, Terraria did really well. Starbound, as far as I know, is doing really well. People, when Rust hit early access, everyone was just like, that's all I heard about. Was Rust.
Rust was a great example of a game I played. It's like everybody's talking about it. I'm gonna play it. It's like I'm hitting shit with a rock. I tried to build a house. Somebody else built a house around my house, and then I was like, I'm done. And I got out. I couldn't figure anything out to the point where I was like, there wasn't a natural progression that gets built into games.
Did you ever get kidnapped by a group of naked dudes?
Never
'Cause
happened.
That's what
That's
I
Stomping
hear
Land.
mostly about Rust.
I saw
really?
I saw a lot of naked dudes, but none of them ever tried to kidnap me.
Okay.
But then I never came back to it, and now they're restarting the game from scratch.
Basically, yeah, just all the base code that they had built it on was, I guess, borrowed from other games.
What really?
Well, I mean, that's some of the articles were saying some of that code was coming from GTA and I don't know what, and it could be some of that stuff is open source. Obviously, they had something worked out
I'm
where they
sure
were
that Rockstar works on a
selling
lot
it.
of open source software.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story, so I'm not going to cast aspersions. But yeah, so long story short, they're recoding it because they said it was horribly inefficient what they were doing.
Yeah, they said what was it, 1,000 lines of code for something that should take 100 or 4,000 lines of code.
Yeah, I think it was 3,000 for 100.
Yeah, it should take 100 so that when they change something and it breaks, they got to find in 3,000 lines of code where it breaks. And if it's 100 lines of code, obviously it's way more efficient.
I think a second ago, though, you were talking about you were headed towards the early access Planetary Annihilation. Is that what
I find that interesting. But I was say, but I know as a consumer or somebody at least who's on a show like this, that people will tell me we should go back now because Rust is way better and it's got this and you played it a year ago and it's way better. But as a consumer, I'm just it's that moment of my first impression. I paid $20 for this game and it's I just don't have good memories of it. So it's I'll never in that big list of Steam library on my system, I'm just never going to select Rust again.
There's some games that really, they hit that early access point and it's a playable and enjoyable game. It's crested that hill of becoming useful as a game, and some games that haven't quite.
I do feel like the ones that catch on, the early access games that people talk about, they've got that. Mm-hmm. even
Well,
I think it was
sorta.
Starbound was saying that that most of the gameplay in there was placeholder.
Yeah.
But at least it was still fun.
Yeah, and there's kind of an interesting example that just now has become slightly topical again, which was Cube World. Do you remember Cube World?
Nope.
It was going so gangbusters that the website couldn't stay up, and they would make occasionally, it's okay, we're going to have the thing open where you can buy a license for 20 minutes.
Wow.
And you got the game, and it's really pretty, but there's nothing to do with it.
Did
At
they
the
host
time,
the
there wasn't.
website in their bedroom?
They may have been at that point. I mean, it was about that level of access.
Cube World, is it Minecraft inspired?
It's it looks very voxel, but it's not a crafting game.
Okay.
It's voxel looking. It's all cubed off. Very pixely looking characters, and it's 3D. But they're just, you got it, and then they didn't have really anything to do, and it was hard, and it didn't really explain anything, and it's now they've just added in, or at least have shown an idea of what the quest system will look like, but it's that had so much notoriety. It was burning it up so hard, and you got it, and there was nothing to do. And then I haven't heard about it since then. Until
what's
now.
our window of time here altogether?
Gosh, we were in the old building. It may have been a year ago.
Close to a year at least.
Yeah.
I like that's how you tell time.
Starting to be, yeah.
Well, we were in the old building.
It was in the old days, back when we had the old big room that was all black walled and a tin roof.
Well, you were in the
night.
big room.
I was in the big
All
room.
your people were in the tiny
in the small
box.
room, the small hot box.
I want to talk to you about this planetary annihilation thing in a second.
Yeah, but first, I was going to read this, but everyone really loves Ryan's radio voice, so I'm going to have Ryan read this.
Why don't we all read it together?
Can we? Like, just pass it around for password?
What about
for each paragraph?
repeat after me?
We need a harmony.
Yeah, do I need like a tone? Where's my camera? There it is. Okay. You've probably tried Hulu on your computer. Hulu Plus is so much more. With Hulu Plus, you can watch current season episodes of your favorite shows like Modern Family, The Daily Show, and Scandal. And watch every episode of shows like Nashville, Lost, and Doctor Who. You get ad-free movies and kids shows too. Now more than ever, there is so much to watch. Take total control with Hulu Plus to stream those shows and thousands more, as much as you want, whenever you want. Hulu Plus works on your computer, smart TV, Roku, Apple TV, Xbox, PlayStation, pretty much any streaming device that you might own. You can even watch on your phone or iPad while on the train, at work, at the dentist, or in the bathroom. We know you do. It's all right.
Yeah.
You can even block off a day to binge.
The safe zone.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. No judgment zone right in there. You can also get access to originals that you can't get anywhere else. Check out the new show Deadbeat, a comedy about a pot-smoking guy who talks to ghosts, and binge on all 10 episodes starting on April 9th. For only $7.99 a month, get your shows anytime, anywhere. That's like a quarter a day. I mean, who doesn't have a quarter a day, right?
Who doesn't?
Who? I guess hobos, but maybe they can get a quarter from someone else. Right now, sign up at Hulu Plus.
As long as you do your chores, according to
There
Teddy.
you go.
Yeah, so hobos don't use your laptop to get Hulu.
Right now, sign up at huluplus.com/patch and get 2 weeks, full access, completely free. That's a whole extra week more with this special offer when you sign up at huluplus.com/patch. So get with it and start streaming TV now with Hulu Plus.
I just want to point out that there's a little known show called Red vs. Blue, which is also on Hulu.
It is.
There's 16 episodes available. People have been excited because they've been able to stream Red vs. Blue lately on lots of different platforms, and it's on Hulu, who supports this program. So thank you very much, Hulu. We appreciate you. Supporting two of our programs at once. Who would imagine? What a world we live in.
The Hulu love.
It's amazing time.
All right, let's talk about planetary annihilation.
Yep.
So what's the story here? Fill us in, Ryan. Or do you want to rest your radio voice for a second?
Well, the story, as I understand it,
Yes.
is that there has been a retail box of planetary annihilation.
Retail box.
Retail box appearing in stores. In certain, I didn't catch what retailer it was.
There it is right there.
There it is. And it is the early access edition.
So this is released in stores, an unreleased game, essentially is what this is.
Yes.
This is like when you hear the leaked tracks and you can get them on the artist's website kind of a thing.
This is like that box that they used to put up that is like coming soon, only you can actually take it home.
You can actually pay for it.
Yeah, you can go ahead and give them money, not pre-order, but give them money and they'll give you a partially functional version of that game.
Okay.
I still think it's kind of like pre-ordering, just like you can play a broken game while you've pre-ordered. Not the only, but the big downside being that you don't know when it's going to be coming. When you pre-order a game, you typically at least have a window of time where you know it's going to go from not done to done. Whereas early access, you generally don't have that. But otherwise, I feel like it's pre-ordering with a bonus.
Well, I never put it in the perspective of pre-ordering. So if I go to a store and I put money down, I reserve a game that doesn't exist and it comes out at some point in the future. Is it better to actually go home with something even if it's not a complete game?
Well, I mean, I guess as you kind of started talking about before, what you're doing now is you're going home with a game and you may decide you don't like it before it's even a finished game. Mm-hmm. So, and you can't get rid of it because who's going to buy your pre-functional license? Which probably tied to you forever at this point.
Pre-release game?
Wasn't there? I was trying to look this up before we came on, but wasn't there a developer who kickstarted a game, crowdfunded it, and then even did early access, and then they were saying, when are you going to put this feature out? They said, I'm done with that game. Now I'm making the next version of the game. Come kickstart this. Do you remember that? It was a few months ago. I could have sworn that happened. I'm totally just like coming up blank though.
I know there was a bit of a thing with Broken Age.
Yeah.
That they kickstarted
Broken
it.
Age. Oh, right.
Yeah, Broken Age from Double Fine. That they kickstarted it. They got way more than they had initially, I guess, planned for.
Right.
So they made the game way bigger, but they made the game too bigger. And so that's why what's available now is the first half of Broken Age. And they said that they're basically funding the second half of Broken Age with purchase of the first half.
Right.
And there was backlash because backlash is popular with Kickstarter, but they were saying that like they thought that what Double Fine was saying was that they were asking for more money from the Kickstarter community, and then Double Fine had to release a statement later saying, "No, that's not what we were asking." Even though it kind of did seem like that's what they were asking, like they were kind of like floating the possibility of another crowdfunding campaign for the same game.
No. We need more money, but not from you.
Or not from you.
From other people.
I always thought that was funny because it was like it showed how the audience and the consumers became the producers because they were like, "Hey, we gave you the money, make the game you said you were going to make."
Yeah.
Whereas the consumers, if this was Electronic Arts making, publishing the game, they would say, "EA, just give them the money. They're going to make a great game. Give them the money, EA. They're Double Fine,
Yeah.
But it's different when they're the actual producers and they're the ones funding this thing. They're like, "You fuckers, you didn't hit your deadlines. No vacation for anybody. Make this game." But this planetary annihilation thing is really interesting to me.
Yeah, it turns out, by the way, that was a game in the UK. The game store chain.
Okay.
And the comments from the developer were when they asked him, like, "Do you think this is weird? Why would you do this?" He goes, "Why wouldn't I?" Basically, why wouldn't I just put this thing out? It's like all the rules are changing, and let's just do this. But I mean, what we're talking about here basically is that these are early access games. These are unreleased games, but it is released. I mean, it's on the shelf. It's sitting there. So you're buying a product that you know is incomplete.
Well, and the funny thing is that is literally the exact same situation as going online and buying a digital copy. I mean, there's no change.
Totally get it. I totally get what you're saying.
You wrap it in a box.
Because even so, you'll have to download the updates.
But there's a distinction.
I'm pretty sure it's probably just a code anyway, right? I wonder if there's a physical media in there.
It is getting to that point for a lot of people.
That'd be really interesting. It was just a code they downloaded. Like you guys were talking earlier about the Steam codes for Sniper Elite 3 that got put out, and they had to go back to the retail store to train their codes. Like, just honestly, don't buy your codes at retail store. Just buy them. That's the whole point of the code.
I think some people do because they don't have credit cards or debit cards or anything like that. So I do
or they're trading in games.
Or they're trading in.
Right.
Yeah. So I do get it, but that's got to be like a very small percentage of the overall audience.
It's got to be dwindling. Yeah. I mean, there's still a fair number of people that do it, I'm sure, but. Yeah, I'm hoping that's on the way out.
It's just a weird process to me to be in a physical place and get a code to go home and download when you could have just saved yourself the trip.
Do you remember, there was a 3DS game that was really, really hard to find.
Did you get it?
It's escaping me at the moment. I remember you and I went to a GameStop.
Yeah.
And it was said, "Do you have this?"
And it was with the Tactics, the RTS game.
Yeah, and it's my mind. Guy with the blue hair. This was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
this was like a year and a half ago.
I'll look it
February.
up. This is escaping
it's a game. It's a thing. My 3DS is over there.
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. My brain was melting. So we went to the GameStop. We tried to find it. They didn't have any copies, but they said, "But you can buy a code."
Okay.
And then you redeem the code on the eShop, and I go, "You're training me to go to the eShop to buy my things. That is what's happening right here. You are training me out of your own retail chain.
Breaking your own business model, yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird, and I absolutely went right on the eShop and just bought it and downloaded it that way.
I guess the thing is, though, right now we three sitting at this table are coming from a perspective of people who have had fake money for decades. Or at least a decade, right? Like you've had a card that has... Why am I getting squinted at?
Because we don't know. I'm curious what fake money means.
Oh, you're talking about credit cards.
Yes.
Like
you've had
money that's not
money.
real.
Yeah. You have not physical currency.
It's going to turn to a totally different podcast here. Where's Joel?
Not gold-backed currency. No. But, we've had a card for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that if you're 12 to 14, you probably don't have one. You may have like an emergency credit card, but you're probably still getting a physical allowance. Right. If you're getting an allowance at all. Mm-hmm. And that's probably who this is. I mean, that's who needs that service still. And there's a lot of people out there, or a lot of that segment of the population gaming that still needs to go to a store and buy it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's also, there's a large segment of the audience that they want a box which I totally get after dropping all my games. There, or there are people who are, doing cash, people who are trading in. So there's still a demand there. But as far as like people who buy games new and that's not a concern, which, with the average age of gamers creeping up to 30 now, that's a big percentage of the population who the retail chains are actively training out of using them.
Yeah.
But here's what I think too is like we are more sophisticated.
We are sophisticated.
Game shopper.
I'm so sophisticated.
Gus is not here. You're pounding the table.
I'm drinking carbonated water. Sophisticated.
Video game industry is huge. It's going to hit $100 billion in the next few years. It's a huge industry. It covers way more people than we touch on a daily basis. Even the people who watch the show, video games are a big part of their life. So we're all, the audience included, we're all part of this group that has the understanding of what an early access game is. And that's why when I see an early access game on the retail shelves, I think I get it. 95% of the people who buy games in a store probably don't get it. They probably don't. Using your example of 12 to 14-year-olds, their parents don't understand they're buying an incomplete game. Early access could just mean I have exclusive access and nobody else has this. It's like a premiere for a movie. It's like if you went to the premiere for the movie and the visual effects aren't done, which does happen sometimes, you're like, well, this is shitty. You would not like that. So as someone who's part of that group, I feel like this could potentially be overall bad for the industry if early access games are on retail shelves.
It's true. I would also argue that for the most part, PC gamers tend to skew a bit older.
True.
If they're gonna be buying like those kinds of games, they probably skew older and have a better understanding of that kind of thing. If you're talking about parents just won't get it. That's just not a thing. Notch was talking about how parents call Mojang to ask for a refund because their kid spent $100 on an item pack on a server.
Yeah.
Parents just, it's not a thing. They just go like, well, yeah, my kid wants this thing and buy this thing. You constantly hear stories from cashiers in game stores saying that they're trying to explain to parents that this game is an M-rated game and maybe their 8-year-old, maybe it's not age appropriate, and they're like, no, my kid wants the game, just give me the game.
Or they think you're insulting their kid.
Right.
I've been in the GameStop where a conversation is like, well, this is Grand Theft Auto, this is M, it's for mature kids, for mature people. It's like my kid can handle this. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, don't tell me the game.
To some degree, I don't think if parents aren't actively educating themselves, early access is the least of their problems.
Yeah, I get it, but I just think this is the latest step of putting an incomplete game on the shelves.
How much longer do you think that parent excuse can really hold up, though? Because you and I are both at this point parents. This is the generation of parents coming in now that should.
My 8-year-old has a Steam account. He said, "Hey, did he call himself 8 in a video the other day?" And he was like, "I was like afterwards, why'd you call yourself 8?" He's like, "I don't know, I got flustered." And he's 9, but my 9-year-old has a Steam account. He's had a Steam account since he was 8. It's funny because I wish I'd recorded this. I sat JD down. We were talking about the summer sale. We were looking at things. What do you want to get? And this is fun and all this stuff. And I said, hey, you are a young guy. You understand all this stuff. And then we pulled up the Steam cards, like that reward program for Steam summer sale. I said, please explain this to me. I go, what? I don't get what this is. I don't get why people get excited about the cards on Steam. Please explain this to me. And he looked at me and goes, oh, that's dumb. Don't worry about it. So I was like, we've reached that point as father and son where it's like, just shush, don't worry about it. Nobody cares about this. There's just a lot of flash they put on that nobody cares about. Do you understand that?
It's basically
it's gamification.
It's just trading cards. It is as significant as most trading cards are.
And I would never and I'm sure there's people who are like, let me show you my cards. They will send me pictures of it and all that. But it's just one of those things where after the Steam summer sale is done, I don't know where those cards live.
They're still in your inventory.
I never go to that part of Steam.
And you get cards, I think, outside of the summer sale. You just doing things in games will unlock cards. And there's a whole economy behind those things too.
God, it's amazing.
It's basically modern day baseball cards.
Yeah. I do like the fact that there's a depth to everything that we do that you can choose to go deeper if you want to. I love Team Fortress 2. No idea how the crafting system works at all. Literally no idea. But I love the game, and I have a good time playing the game.
Yeah, I got very close to going down the Steam Workshop rabbit hole with like Guacamelee skins. I was like, oh, but that one. And then I was like, nope. Once I start doing Steam Workshop, it's all over.
Slippery slope.
There's some awesome Left 4 Dead mods. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
There's the one that makes all the characters into RVB, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yes.
Yeah, you can play Left 4 Dead as the two different blue team and red team. That's awesome.
Highly recommended.
There's a Civ mod that JD wants to get. It's got me and Jeff as leaders.
And doesn't it have Gus and he has Arstotzka?
I don't know.
I remember seeing a screenshot of Civ 5 with Gus leading Arstotzka.
From Papers, Please?
Yeah, from Papers, Please. And or maybe I might actually be mixing up two memories. There was definitely a mod where someone put Arstotzka into Civ. They set all the stats and everything, so it would be just like that country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like the paper, like different types of units have like these extra powers, and there's this, and it's this type of
And
government.
you can develop bureaucracy powers and stuff like that.
Oh my god, it was
Gus
really
loves
funny
this
to
game,
read over.
Papers, Please. It was he, on the patch in December. He tried to get it for downloadable game of the year. He was really pushing hard for it. So you can go back and watch the December game of the year edition to hear Gus just tell you what a great game
I think there's
Stamping Papers is and denying people things.
He and Joel and Adam have done a how-to.
They just
as
did
well,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed Joel and Adam got really stressed out by it, and while Gus got excited, he was
happy
like,
the whole
this
time.
is the most amazing thing.
The only time he's not happy in that video is when they're playing and he's not. He's like, you're just awful. He's like a manager at that point.
Yeah, he's like, you're not doing it good enough. Give it here. Like, oh, you have to do 10, otherwise your family's gonna starve.
He's infected the sales team with it too. They love that game.
Oh, yeah.
Something about
Really?
it that people really identify with.
a whole bunch of people
Stamp enthusiasts.
on Twitter, and I think the YouTube comments from last week's patch where we were talking more about the Steam Summer Sale were saying that they bought Papers, Please on the Summer Sale because of Gus.
Sorry.
Oh, really? Good.
Sorry,
Yeah.
people.
No. It's a fun game. You want to go over some quick hits from from news because we're at 15 minutes left. First of all, EA can no longer call Dungeon Keeper a free game in the UK.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's different countries have a lot of different consumer laws. Australia's also like really, really careful about the word free.
Mm-hmm.
It can't require any sort of prior purchase or anything else. It's like really, really careful. I'd be interested in. Do you know what the UK like standards were for that?
I don't know. I mean, essentially, I know that the game itself, though, was basically just a framework for purchasing.
Oh yeah, it was so widely panned, which is really sad because the original Dungeon Keeper was awesome.
I know. The Dungeon Keeper 1 and Dungeon Keeper 2 were such great games.
And Peter Molyneux actually had to come out and be like, I am no way involved with this. I have nothing to do with it. Don't blame me. Not for this one.
People have been dying for a sequel to it for so long, and then that's what they get. It's like, why? Why would you do this?
Okay, so here we go. It's they're saying that calling it free is misleading. It requires players to progress either by waiting lengthy amounts of time or buying in-game gems using real money. It's technically free, but difficult to play for extended periods without spending money. And so the UK's Advertising Standards Agency said that they can't do it. The ad must not appear again in its current form, we told Electronic Arts Limited, to ensure that future ads made clear the limitations of free gameplay and role of in-app purchasing with regard to speeding up gameplay.
So what's their new ad going to look like? It would be free to look at for less than 10 minutes.
Well, for me, I go, they're advertising this? Like, I'm picturing, like, bus stop signs.
There's a lot of video game bus stop signs out
I get
there.
the feeling that, like, online banners aren't that carefully policed, so they must be doing
Especially
a
by
pretty big campaign for that.
nationality. Though if they are catching that by nationality, that'd be really interesting because then they'd have to start making distinctions between the. Well, I guess they already have to. I mean, by language, what ads are served in what regions.
God, it's crazy because the example that I always go back to is the Smurfs mobile game. I mean, Smurfs is a kid's property, right? There's not. I mean, it doesn't have
Tell that to the new movies.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have like the Bronies level of so the Smurfs movies actually do like really well internationally. Like they make
Really?
$200 million in the U.S. and they make $500 million overseas and international.
Yeah, well, the U.S. has really fallen off as the prime market for movies anyway.
How dare you?
I'm just
How
saying.
dare you?
Go talk to Pacific Rim, why don't you?
That goalkeeper dude's gonna get. Is anybody weirded out by the fact that the goalkeeper for the U.S. team, which, spoiler, lost yesterday to Belgium, they're like, he's gotten all this glory, but Belgium won the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's no talk of Belgium, like, having a good game and beating us. It's all about this one goalkeeper.
That's what
That guy,
isn't
come
that what
on.
you're seeing?
he had a great performance. He had a great performance.
Isn't that what you're seeing in the U.S. though, where they're trying to find the silver lining in the losing to Belgium?
We're just trying to, we're
Did he
just trying
break
to find
a record for the most number of stops
I think
in
he
a
had
game?
14 saves in one
16.
game. 16, is that what it was?
This game, it was 16.
He was insane. The captain of the Belgian team actually tweeted about him afterwards. About
Aw, that's
how awesome
sweet.
it was. He was even getting in on. He's like, I need some love here too. So I'm gonna get some favorites by talking about Howard. But yeah, the Smurfs game. There was an article. This is back from 2011. Little girl amasses $1,400 iPhone bill playing Smurfs Village. I remember Smurfs because one of my kids.
Was that the British kid?
I don't know.
The one that did 1,400 pounds in like 10 minutes?
It says $1,400 bill. Doesn't say where she lived in this particular article. But one of my kids came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to buy something in the game." And I said, "Okay." I looked at it, and it was Smurfs. And I remember there was something that was $100, like one of the, like whatever the item in the game is, the power item of like you need so many berries to do things, or like coins or whatever. It's like you can buy X amount of berries, and it was $100. I thought, whoa, they got a typo here. I mean, I remember thinking that. It's like, this is probably supposed to be $9.99. It says $99.99. It's like, that's not right. It was absolutely right. They were charging $99.99 for basically a bank thing on a mobile game. And it's like, at the time, that was insane to me. But now, not that insane anymore.
Now that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you can buy the thing for 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have to say, when I see it like an example and it's in my face, I'm like, that's ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm totally okay with if somebody gets a game and they want to pay to unlock stuff. I'm actually totally okay with that because I don't think everyone has the time. I think that one of the first instances of this was on Tiger Woods Golf, where you could level up your golfer in Tiger Woods, or you could just pay to unlock and max out your character. Well, it's like,
But then where's the game?
but at the same time, it's like, I bought
like
the game. Why can't I just play with the best character?
But you also bought the game and then you paid to not play the game.
Or you just play with the best character. Like, I don't want to have a guy who like hooks it. You know, if I don't get it perfect, I want to just play the game and enjoy the game. And if I want to spend $10 to not spend 50 hours unlocking and building up that character, I'll do that because I don't have 50 hours to spend on a golf game. But I do have $10 to spend on a golf game.
How do you feel when that comes into multiplayer, though?
That's interesting. Maybe have a separate hopper for those people, or you should just balance multiplayer anyway. I don't want to get in multiplayer with somebody who spent 80 hours leveling their character up to where I can't compete with it anyway. I think multiplayer just should be a totally flat field. You know, I never played much Call of Duty. I never understood why, as you level up and you play better, you get better weapons, or like.
Not necessarily better, but I mean, most of the guns and things like that were fairly balanced across the board.
Yeah.
But obviously, you got access to more perks and things like that could give you advantages. But some games, like honestly,
but
Call
obviously
of Duty,
they balance it really well because Call of Duty multiplayer is beloved. But I just never understood that concept of better players getting better stuff.
Sorry, go ahead.
The idea of paying to unlock stuff that also carries over to multiplayer. I remember Forza got into big big trouble with that last year. Is they came out and they said, you know, you can buy it, whatever, and then you can also pay money to like speed up so that you're unlocking all the best cars immediately. And a lot of people didn't like that because they felt like if they put in the work to get the best cars, they didn't like the idea that someone could pay $50 and immediately do that without any work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, and be able to take that into multiplayer and be racing with the best cars.
And then have an advantage over people who are still putting in the time.
Yeah.
See, I have a problem on that end too.
The big buzzword around that is the pay to win, which nobody wants the pay to win model.
It's a fine line. You know what I mean? It's like basically with the pay to win model is the baseline game is crappy, and then you have to pay the extra money to get the way the game should be. You know. And so that I don't like.
You don't want to be that player in a system like that where you haven't paid and then you're just constantly getting annihilated by people who are, buying their way into the system. If you ever feel like you're on parity with them in skill, but they've just got advantages that you don't, that's where it breaks the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think
Counter
is
Strike,
why
somebody can see through walls. They got a hack or something. That's the worst feeling in the world. You're like, this sucks.
Yeah, I think that's why League of Legends has done so well. Is their transactions are cosmetic.
And character based, like you get more characters buying in, but the characters that you get aren't like super characters versus the regular characters that everybody else has.
Right.
It's just more options.
It's just different characters.
You don't get like Captain Nuke.
Right.
You can just like wipe out the entire map.
Yeah, I also really like what was it Killer Instinct has done, where they actually have a rotating roster of which characters are the free characters. So it's like
you stick with it long enough.
So over time you'll be able to play like all the different characters, and you get that variety if you want to pay, then you just unlock all.
Which is a disadvantage to some people because there's some people that want to get a character and master that character, and if it's no longer available because it's rotated out, then they're in a little bit more trouble.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm not clear on with Killer Instinct, because I'm not sure if once it's unlocked and you've used that character, if you can continue to use that character.
I imagine. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know for that game.
I don't really play Killer Instinct. That's fighting games, another genre that I'm really terrible at. So
I'm looking at Twitter now. Jay Fraser 15 is telling me The Division is now currently under scrutiny for apparently having in-game purchases that have been reported that everyone is up in arms about.
How is The Division under scrutiny already? Like they don't
doesn't come out for
even have a
another
game
year.
yet.
Don't know. I would put them under scrutiny for that terrible E3 demo they had.
Uh-huh.
Remember like last year at the Xbox One debut when they had all that canned dialogue from people where they were like, hey, I'm going to bust you up, man. When they were like, then they get the controllers and they had the fake families and all that. The Division was the only thing at E3 this year that felt that way. It was like, it just felt like people like, oh man, we're having a blast. Let's play this game now. There was a great trailer that you sent out, which was an alpha game, which they listed as being alpha as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And they're saying it's very rudimentary graphics, but it's a SWAT game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a planning stage to it. And I don't know if you noticed in the trailer, but when they're planning in the drawing phase of how to invade this building, that actually shows up on the map.
Yeah.
The drawing. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that everybody can coordinate what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's, just polygons, but the game, it's one of those things where the gameplay versus what the actual look of the game, you can get away with having gameplay that's really good and graphics that are just like, I mean, it's stylized at that point. If your gameplay's good and your art's terrible, then you're just doing something really stylized.
I totally agree with you. Gameplay or graphics is the one thing to me that disappears the quickest. Like it's like, wow, this game looks gorgeous, and then eventually I just get used to looking at that.
Yep.
And really, unfortunately, especially with like FPS games, I look at the reticule. Like I end up looking at like a square footage of screen that's like this big and just putting stuff in the center of the screen. But like GTA, I recognize it's beautiful, but if GTA did not have fantastic gameplay and was not engaging, I would have given up on it long before I finished that game.
I do like, though, when games go for the very intentionally stylized things. So Shovel Knight just came out, and so I started playing that. I actually, Meg and I were talking about it earlier, because it came out on 3DS, and then I was on Steam and found out that it's also on Steam. So I got it there, and I've been playing with my controller. It's been really great. And it's straight up, it looks like old school, completely accurate 8-bit. Plays that way. It's a side scroller. I don't know the story of the Shovel Knight. I guess I haven't been paying very close attention.
There he is.
Oh god, that does look. I mean,
It looks like a Super Nintendo game. Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's definitely better than
it looks faithful,
NES,
which is not always the best thing.
Yeah.
Right, but it plays great.
Yeah.
So I might have a problem with it if it played too rough, but it's actually like the gameplay's great, and it looks like as I was playing it, I was like, oh my god. My nostalgia is just like going crazy right now. It's just like at full blast going bing, 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 bing.
Those
so excited.
Like melee platformer type games, as long as they've got really solid responsiveness from the controls, they can be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
if they got that, it's a weird metric, but it's like if you got the perfect jump speed and distance ratio, then a platformer can be a lot of fun.
I happen to like it when they're a little bit forgiving. The whole like Super Meat Boy, super precise thing, like I can't do. So Shovel Knight seems forgiving so far, which I really like.
Patrick, I'm sending you
so
a clip.
I can actually make some progress, which like thank you. I'm thinking of getting it on 3DS as well, just because I want to see what they do with the touchscreen. And now I'm really bummed that it's not one of those cross-buy things. Nintendo actually just started their first cross-buy thing, sort of. So there's this game called Squid's Odyssey. It's like a cartoony tactical RPG game where you play underwater. It looks really cute. And they just announced that in Europe, not in North America currently, if you buy the 3DS version, which comes out tomorrow, today when this goes up on the website and on YouTube, if you buy the 3DS version, you get the Wii U version for free.
Oh, that's cool.
But if you bought the Wii U version, you don't get the 3DS version for free. Like they must be still working out some weird technical
And this only applies
hurdle.
in Europe, right?
And it's only in Europe. The developers said that they actually contacted Nintendo of America to see if they could run it here as well, but for some reason they couldn't. I like to think it's because Nintendo of America is just holding off until they get whatever technical gymnastics in place to be able to make it so that the cross-buy works both ways.
Bidirectionality.
But it's a start. Nintendo's making a start at it, and that's good. That's something that even Microsoft hasn't done yet.
They're really Nintendo's having a pretty good run lately. I mean, Mario Kart's doing really well. Maybe they're pulling out of the nosedive they seemed like they were in.
I
Mario
checked
Kart's a
Wii U
great game.
sales last week, and Wii U sales were above Xbox One sales.
Wow.
They were it was like 60,000 versus I think PS4 sold 100,000 that week. So still behind for sure, but the momentum had changed, and hopefully that will. I say hopefully because I want Nintendo to do well and keep making all of my favorite games. Hopefully that will hold until they get Super Smash Brothers and then beyond.
And then the next Metroid, the next Zelda game.
And Mario Maker. Yeah, oh my God, the next Zelda game. Oh, I'm so excited.
I think the Metroid is one that feels the most overdue. I guess
I would really
Star
like to see
Fox fans
Metroid.
would probably say Star Fox.
But Star
that's
Fox
true.
is coming.
It's definitely coming.
Yeah, so there's Star Fox is coming back. Now we just need Metroid. Also, I'd really like it if we got F-Zero.
There you go.
F-Zero, really?
Yeah, why not?
Have they announced
liked
what's his name? The Falcon Punch guy? Captain Falcon?
Yeah.
Have they announced him for Super Smash Bros. Yet?
Dude,
People are very worried about
Dude,
that.
I cannot keep track of Super Smash Brothers character announcements. It's like there's one every week, but they only announce one character at a time.
People are going to have like conniption fits if they don't put that game out soon, because people are just like, they're getting worked into such a frenzy over who's in the game and who's not.
Yeah, well, but that's Nintendo's doing, because they announce one character at a time, and then they go like, here you go, here's this one little
Trickle.
thing, and then they just back off and go.
Hey, have
Bask.
we talked about Cuphead on this on the patch before?
I think
We've
we
talked about the
it.
fact that I know it's on Xbox now and not just PlayStation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about
That's
it.
the 1930s game. I might have
times
not
ago,
been on
yeah.
there. Okay, so we won't talk about it if we've already talked about it.
Another game that I didn't realize that is, I guess, has apparently just come out is, did you see the trailer? It was at E3. It was either during the PlayStation or Xbox conference. It was a side scroller from Ubisoft, and it was like this World War I game, and it has like soldier and a dog, and they're going through, and
the
it
really
seems like
sad
the dog,
thing?
yeah, the really sad thing. I literally teared up with that trailer. I was sitting there going, ugh. It just looks really sad. All I know is the trailer ends with the dog laying down on a grave. And
Is
I
it-
was like,
and that's
I
out
don't
now?
know what happened.
Spoiler.
It's just a trailer. Come on, bro.
No, I'm saying the trailer's a spoiler.
But I think that
That's
might
war.
be
People die.
that
It's
might be
true.
the sort of the whole point of the game, though, is that like you're leading to a sad end.
tearing
You're
up
tearing
right
up
now.
tearing up right now.
You're tearing up
right
talking
now.
about it. All right, well, I think
But
we're out
it's
of time for
apparently
today.
out.
Oh, okay.
We're out of
So
time.
I saw it
So
on,
go
I
find
saw a
sad
thing for it on Steam,
grave.
and I'm gonna cry.
Dead owner dog game.
Or if you just like to watch people in X-ray vision get shot, get Sniper Elite 3, which came out. What do you
Make
think
sure you get
about
the right code though.
your game that you played? Would you
I
tell
love
people
it.
to get it?
I'm very
Shovel
glad
Knight?
I'm playing a controller. I wouldn't even think about trying it with a keyboard. But it's great. It plays very intuitively. Super cute. I already killed a dragon. And that was in the first level.
Not to brag,
Hit him
but-
with my shovel a couple times.
You
No
shoveled
big
a dragon?
deal. Shoveled a dragon to death.
I don't think that should be allowed. I think dragons really need a higher level of,
Hey.
what's
It
the
could
word
be
I'm
an
looking for?
enchanted shovel.
Hey, I'm the shovel knight.
All right, I'll allow it.
All right, and also you can get FTL and go beat the game and then keep those goddamn screenshots
Tell me
to
how
yourself.
awesome you are. Yeah,
That'd be great.
I never want to hear about it.
We'd appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.